Hello guys. Today I will be reviewing a rather unique new ship, the Russian cruiser Mikhail Kutuzov. I am sorry if I butchered that name, I have no idea how you're actually supposed to pronounce it, but I'll just be calling it the Mikhail from now on. Now, first I'd like to thank Mickey Gaming Show, who donated a bunch of money on my stream so I could actually get this ship. So thank you very much for allowing me to play it to begin with. But the ship itself is very interesting. It's the most unique ship I think VG has released so far. I've seen people call it the T8 Cleveland or a destroyer, a cruiser destroyer or something. This is all wrong. If someone tells you that you should play it like a DD, is wrong. You shouldn't play it like a DD. I disagree wholeheartedly. And it's nothing like a Cleveland either, because the Cleveland can actually brawl and fight quite evenly among other cruisers or even against battleships, whereas the Mikhail Kutuzov is pretty much a paper ship. It's like a thin barrel of black powder. It's just as likely to explode as it is to devastate your enemies. Now, the key component of the ship is naturally the 152mm guns it has. It has 12 of them with a significant fire chance. I think it was 15% by default. Anyways, it has a very good fire chance, and because the guns are less than 155mm, they obviously benefit from all the captain perks that buff this, including reload and range, which you see here, where I'm able to shoot at this turrets that's 17.5 kilometers away with complete ease, because advanced firing training increases my range to a whopping 19.1 kilometers. And you can see the accuracy is not bad either. 6 shells hit from that first volley. And another 5 hit, 6 hit again. It's a very potent damage dealer from all ranges. Now, thanks to the fast reload and multiple small guns, it's obviously extremely powerful against DDs as well. The torpedoes, it only has I think 5 per side, but they are 8 km range. The damage is a bit weak though, so it's more of a spam and forget. I wouldn't recommend trying to ambush a battleship with them because the damage is simply too underwhelming. It's more of a last resort in that case. Anyway, here I will demonstrate the use of the smoke. A lot of people use this smoke far too late. Basically, people who try to play this like a destroyer, where you wait until the last moment and then you use the smoke. That's not how you're supposed to use the smoke on the ship. You smoke before you encounter the danger. On a DD you can smoke after you've encountered it to save yourself, but on a Mikhail Kutuzov you have to plan ahead. You have to plan for the future. This ship requires very good minimap awareness and planning. In this case, I slowed down and smoked before I was even detected by the ships. So now that I'm actually, and I put it, if you're gonna notice, I'm soon gonna put it into full reverse. I'm stopping first because there are DDs around here, and you never want to sit still for long in a cruise. Here, as soon as I see the DD, I'm gonna start shooting at him. Obviously, this is what it excels at, the ship killing DDs, because you see how fast the reload is. Couple of shells at the DD, and I switch back to the turrets, and now I start reversing. Not only does it make you a harder target to hit, remember to always angle yourself in the smoke. Just because you're in the smoke doesn't mean you're invincible, you can still be shot at. So still angle your armor while you're inside of it. And I started full reversing, and as you can see, torps. There's multiple reasons for reversing hard in your smoke. First of all, anyone with a bit of sense will start shooting or spamming torps into the smoke, so reversing will allow you to avoid most of it. Second of all, the smoke you deployed, because it takes you so long to slow down, you basically leave this huge trail of smoke behind you as you smoke up. And when you start reversing, you're reversing through the trail you already left. So when you need to speed up eventually and move out, because your smoke is ending, then you can basically use the trail of smoke you left earlier, and instead of popping out the smoke at very low speed. In this case I didn't really use it because the turret's guns were aimed away from me, so I wasn't worried at all. But you can basically use your own trail of smoke to minimize the damage you take. Here I just shoot the torps because why not? I don't expect them to hit anything, but these torps are not very reliable tool at all. I use them because I happen to have a chance to use them. I don't expect any hits. If I do get any hits, lucky me. And you saw the amount of damage I did on the turrets. As soon as the smoke runs out, I flee. I am not staying to fight. This is not a fighting type cruiser. This is not a brawling type. Like the Ataga that can pick fights with other cruisers and heal up and survive and basically out-damage them with out-survive them. You can't do this on the Kutuzov. It's so thinly armored, so paper. It takes huge amounts of damage from everything. So I just straight up flee. I start kiting away and firing back, wanting to disengage as far as possible. You do not want to engage in any sort of close combat on a Kutuzov. If you find yourself in a situation, try to escape it. But usually you should try to have enough map awareness to never get caught in a brawling situation. You're quite good as long as no one shoots at you. But the second the enemy starts focusing you in a brawling situation where you simply can't avoid the damage, you'll melt so fast. In fact, I think the papery armor and the thinness of the ship is the thing that keeps it from being an overpowered ship. Right now I simply think it's a very niche and quite strong ship if played correctly. But it's hard to call it overpowered because anyone who has faced or played one themselves know just how incredibly quickly it can melt. It takes so little focus fire to just destroy a Mikhail Kutuzov completely. Oof. Lucky I only got one hit from that. But you can see I've avoided almost all the hits I've taken, but I've already lost almost a fourth of my HP, even though I've avoided almost everything. I've gotten very few hits, but the HP pool on the ship melts very quickly. That's why I don't think you can call it Cleveland, because it lacks the brawling and fighting power of a Cleveland did at T6. And you can't call it the USDD either, because you can't play that sneaky type gameplay as a USDD, because your detection is way too bad for it. With the upgrade and the captain perk, my detection is 11.5, and it's far too high at this tier when you got the Tagos and Mogamis and all these ships that have better concealment than you, not to mention the destroyers, of course. There's no point. Some people like to play it as a DD hunter, which is certainly something you can see how much, even from this range, because of the rate of fire, I'm able to hammer that DD. You can play it as a DD hunter if you wish. It's certainly potent, but good DDs that simply stay out of range because of your shitty concealment will be able to avoid you. But of course it can be useful simply because rate of fire and if you use hydroacoustic. Personally, I currently have the defensive AA on because I felt like ruining some carrier's day in case he tries to go for something near me. If you didn't know, the Mikhail Kutuzov has absolutely amazing anti-air. It probably has one of the most potent anti-air in the game. The damage is absolutely absurd when you activate the defensive AA. Now I'm just making use of my range. As you can see, thanks to my perk, I know I'm not even detected. So I'm just taking this time to basically spam damage out. Constantly spam damage. Much like a Russian DD, really. Sit at range, spam damage, avoid damage at all costs. Now let's get a fire on this Tirpitz. Undetected again. I'm not worried about those planes at all. If they decide to come closer, I'll just activate defensive AA and they will all melt. The range, I think, with the upgrades on this is something like 6.2 on the longer range aura, so just very powerful. He repaired my first fire, but I got a second fire on him now, so that's an unrepairable fire. I'm hoping to get a second fire on him because that will finish him. Constantly keeping an eye on the minimap as well. You can probably, if you look at the minimap, you can see there's a battleship coming straight ahead of me. That's why I'm a bit very... Part of me wants to chase down the Tirpitz and keep shooting him, but I don't want to risk being caught unawares by this Amagi pushing up at me. So at this point I just decide to abandon the Tirpitz. My fire probably won't kill him, but it's not worth the risk of getting too close to a battleship, because as I said before, the Kutuzov is not a good fighting cruiser. It's definitely more of a sniping, a pot-shot taking cruiser. Once again, you will see that as soon as his guns start turning towards me, as soon as I see even the slightest bit of aggression towards me, No, he's still not. But I'm probably going to play it safe anyways, because as I said, the Kutuzov is not. I've always slowed down to third speed, so I'm very ready to smoke up. You have to remember, when you smoke up, if you go faster than half speed, or when you smoke up, you will outrun your own smoke, which means that you will outrun the smoke cloud you leave, meaning you will outrun the undetection cloud. Basically, you will be exposed. That's why I went at so slow speed. You see, I'm already concealed, and now I just start hammering. Even before he shot a single shell at me, I used my smoke, and that's how you're supposed to use it. It's a defensive measure. It's a avoidance to begin. It's not a "oh shit, save me" type of consumable. You shouldn't use it like a DD who's "oh shit, I'm getting shot at, I need to smoke up." That won't save you, because you have to slow down, and on a cruiser, slowing down will get you absolutely wrecked. You use it before the damage even reaches you, to simply avoid it altogether. Unfortunately, my two cruisers, I'm not really certain where they're going, but they're not spotting this Amage for me, so I couldn't abuse the smoke here as I wanted. Instead, I'm moving out. But you can see the amount of fires I have on that guy. He repaired my first few fires, but now I got like 3 on him, so he's like a goddamn bonfire. And I already got Witherer. Witherer is when you do 60,000 fire or flooding damage. In this case, it's obviously fire damage. And I just keep spamming fires on him, because the fire chance is so insane with the high rate of fire this ship has. I'm very careful to avoid his shells though, making sure I very rarely give him broadside. As soon as I think his reload is up on those guns, I start turning away. Yeah, I'm already turning hard left to make myself a narrow target. Even so, it only took 1 shell, and it did 5,000 damage with 1 single hit. This ship cannot survive any sort of extended battles, and it's not designed for it. You shouldn't play it like such. It's a ship you have to be extremely careful in, and it's a pretty cool addition, I think, to the... This is an enjoyable premium ship. It's very different. You can have amazing games, and you can have incredibly frustrating games. And I'm lucky. I think that shell overpenned or something. I have no idea what happened to it. You shouldn't expect to deflect much on this. You can deflect some cruiser shells by angling yourself, but don't expect to deflect battleship shells. Another farm as I tried to flee. Activating my defensive AA and shooting down those torpedo bombers who tried to go for my carriers. You saw how quickly I sniped them from that range. Just the defensive AA on the ship is absolutely massive. Trying to see if I could get another fire on this Amage, because I'm pretty sure he'll die if I get a second fire on him. Now, however, I switched to the Mayhem, who's capping our point. The turret traverse on the ship is actually quite good, so as you can see, it's easy to switch between targets. Once again, one of the reasons the turret traverse is so good is because guns are 152mm, so they benefit from the turret traverse perk. They get the full benefit of 2.7 degrees per second, or was it 2.5 degrees per second. So you have a very, very fast turning turrets, which makes it nice when you're maneuvering like this and switching targets. This Mayhem is in trouble. You shouldn't be shooting back, you should be trying to hide. Having a Cleveland and a Mikhail on you is just nightmarish. Pretty sure that volley should kill him. Yep. Atlanta. Atlanta is incredibly thinly armored, so I'm switching to AP. The AP on the ship is actually very potent. As long as you get the broadside hits and such, you can do huge AP DPM if you get to shoot cruisers in the broadside. In this case, I don't even mind that it's not broadside, because this is an Atlanta, this is an exception, this is a very light cruiser, just like mine. So as you can see, I'm doing significant damage and destroying his guns, even though I'm shooting AP from the front. HJ would probably work just as well. And I got a Confederate, that's always nice. My team, however, has been struggling quite hard this game. The matchmaking to begin with was quite awful. Basically, they got a bunch of T8s and we didn't. As you can see, we have all this. You saw all these Clevelands we had. So we got pretty screwed by matchmaking. But I'm still seeing if I can carry this. Now, my defensive AA is on cooldown because I used it earlier, so I'm just focusing these planes. And of course, turning my ship sideways towards them, so I'm not parallel to the way they're dropping, to make it harder for him to hit. Trying to get a fire on this Mayhem. I basically want a couple of fires on him, so I can smoke up and focus on the Mogami. Okay, he's shooting, so I'm turning hard towards him. Wow! And he gets a citadel from that angle. When I'm turning into his volley, he gets a citadel. Basically, partially through the front. Now I'm forced to smoke up because the Mogami can kill me so soon. But this is not the way you're supposed to use the smoke because you get hit so easily. And that's not even surprising. I'm a bit salty because of that citadel, because I turned into it, and if I'd just gone straight he would have probably missed it. But you know, shit happens, so I'm just gonna skip right to the end of the clip. And this is the end of the game. We ended up losing, but you can still see the amount of money I got because, well, this is a premium ship. So premium rewards when you have good games are quite fantastic. Team score wise, well, it's obvious that my team struggled. We even had a team killer. We had guys who did basically nothing. But you can see the detailed report, the damage now. Almost 100,000 fire damage. That just shows you how potent this ship is at melting battleships, as long as you play it carefully. You can just bring all that DPM to bear. And the auto repair cost is only 70k, plus the ammo, so I end up making over 500k profit from this game. So overall, the Kutuzov is a very interesting ship. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to the perks and modules. As usual, I will start with the consumables. Premium repair, premium smoke. Very simple, both are extremely useful. Should need no more explaining at this point. The consumable, the third one, is a bit optional. You can go for the defensive AA. Your anti-air is absolutely amazing. With this active, one of the best in the game in fact. Or you can go for the hydroacoustic surge, which I've already made a vid explaining how good this consumable can be, but which one you eventually choose is entirely up to you. Upgrade wise, I of course go for the main battery mod. Reduces your chance of turrets being destroyed and detonation. Of course, by far the best one for this ship. Second one, accuracy. No other one even comes close to the utilities. Just more accuracy will give you, especially considering the ranges at which you shoot. Third one, I actually don't see myself losing propulsion or steering that often on the ship. Like if it happens, I'll probably have to repair anyway because I've taken some other ridiculous damage, like a torpedo that has broken it. So I personally just use damage control. It's not very good, but usually this category is rarely very good. It's only for DDs that the propulsion is really the best. And the fourth, here's a bit different. I actually go for the propulsion modification. Now, the damage control system is fairly useless on a cruiser because usually a repair will come up long before this can actually kick in and be useful. And it's much rarer that you'll be on fire or flooding and such. So I personally don't value it as highly on a cruiser. Steering gears is something I have on pretty much every single cruiser. But the Mikhail Kutuzov actually has a rudder shift time of 6.5 seconds, so it has a very, very good rudder shift time by default. Like if you compare it to something like the Tago, it has a 6.5 with the steering gears mod. So the Mikhail Kutuzov handles as well as an Atago that already has this mod installed. Hence why I didn't think it was necessary, and I rather went for the propulsion modification, which allows you to make better use of your smokes. And fifth and final is obviously stealth. Now, for my captain perk, or the captain itself, I'm actually using my Udaloy captain, because regardless of how differently they play, they gain benefits from the very same perks. First of all, situation awareness. You have to know when you're detected or not. Secondary armament is very, very good on the Kutuzov, because once again it works to 155mm guns, and the Kutuzov of course has 152mm, so you gain the full benefit, basically a 10% reload buff from this one perk alone. Turret traverse, which you gain a huge benefit from, thanks to the fact that once again your guns are only 152 millimeters. And the third perk, another smoke or whatever other consumable hydroacoustic or defensive AA. Once again, these are the same things I use on the Udaloy, so this synergizes really well. Of course, advanced firing range for increasing your AA to the point that it's actually a massive 6 kilometer range on your huge aura, which is really, really scary, which is why it's such an anti-air beast. And of course it increases the range of your main guns, just like it does on the Udaloy. And fifth, concealment, which is fantastic for both you and your Russian destroyer. In fact, if you have a Russian destroyer, you're able to level the captain really and retrain him really easily with the Kutuzov, because these two synergize so well using the same captain perks over and over again. So overall, that was my hopefully short, well actually not that short, but hopefully sweet commentary of the Mikhail Kutuzov.